She was the daughter no one remembered. While her sisters danced with lords and viscounts, Emma Fairchild stood in the shadows, watching her inheritance slip away to fund their futures. But when the most powerful duke in England walked into that glittering ballroom, his gaze found her, the one woman who expected nothing. What began as a cold arrangement would become something neither could control, because sometimes the heart chooses what the world overlooks. If this story speaks to you, subscribe and stay with us until the end. Leave a comment telling us where you are listening from. Your presence means everything, and if you believe in love that defies expectations, leave a like. Let us begin. The chandeliers of Almac's assembly rooms cast their golden light across the polished floor, illuminating silk gowns that swirled like petals in a breeze. Laughter rose and fell in waves, mingling with the violins. Emma Fairchild stood near the column at the edge of the ballroom, her lilac dress modest among the peacock display of London society. Her gloved hands folded quietly before her as she watched her sisters claim the attention she had long stopped expecting. Mary, 19 and radiant in cream satin, laughed at something Captain Thornbury said. Her dark curls bounced as she tilted her head, a practiced gesture that made men lean closer. Caroline, barely 18, danced past in the arms of Lord Pemberton's heir, her rose-colored gown catching every eye. They shimmered, they sparkled. They were everything a Fairchild daughter should be, if one forgot that their seasons, their gowns, their very presence here had been purchased with Emma's maternal inheritance. Emma did not begrudge them. She could not. But standing here, 24 years old and deemed too old for marriage prospects, she felt the weight of invisibility settle over her shoulders like a familiar shawl. Her father stood across the room, red-faced and jovial, accepting congratulations on his daughter's success. Mr. Fairchild had once been a man of moderate fortune and greater pride. Now his fortune existed only in rumor, lost to Caribbean investments that never materialized and card tables that showed no mercy. The Ton did not know, not yet, but Emma knew. She had signed the papers that liquidated her mother's legacy. She had watched the numbers dwindle. The music shifted. A quadrille began. The crowd near the entrance stirred, a ripple of awareness moving through the room like wind across water. Emma glanced up. He stood in the doorway. Joseph Ashford, 5th Duke of Wexbury. Even those who had never met him recognized the posture, straight as a blade, controlled as carved marble. His dark coat fit him perfectly, tailored to emphasize broad shoulders and a lean frame. His cravat was tied with mathematical precision, but it was his face that held attention. Angular, almost severe, with grey eyes that seemed to measure everything and reveal nothing. He was 32, unmarried, and according to whispers, utterly indifferent to the parade of eligible women who had thrown themselves at his title for the past decade. Emma had seen him before, always at a distance. Dukes did not notice women like her. Yet as Lord Sinclair approached to greet him, as Lady Jersey herself glided forward with her famous smile, Wexbury's gaze swept the room. It passed over the clusters of debutantes in white, over the matrons fanning themselves, over the officers in their regiments, and stopped on Emma. She felt it like a physical touch, her breath caught. For 3 heartbeats, his grey eyes held hers across the crowded ballroom, not with the bored assessment she had seen men give her sisters, not with pity or dismissal, with something else, something that made her pulse quicken and her fingers tighten against her palm. Then he inclined his head, a slight deliberate nod. Acknowledgement. Emma's lips parted in surprise. She managed a small curtsy, her cheeks warming. When she looked up again, he had turned away, drawn into conversation by Lord Sinclair. But something had shifted. The air felt thinner. Her heartbeat had not yet steadied. "Emma, there you are." Her father's voice broke the spell. Mr. Fairchild approached, slightly unsteady, his breath carrying the sweet burn of brandy. "Stand straight, girl. You look like a wilting flower." She straightened. "Yes, father." His eyes flicked toward the dance floor where Mary laughed too loudly at something Captain Thornbury whispered. "Your sister will receive an offer within the fortnight. Mark my words." Emma said nothing. Mary's season would cost another £100 they did not have. "And you." Her father's attention returned to her with the force of a judge's gavel. "You will remain useful, I trust. Your mother's cousin in Bath has written again about a companion position. Widow, 3 children, decent household. A companion, the fate of superfluous daughters. Emma had expected it. She nodded. If that is what is needed, it is what is practical. He patted her shoulder with the affection one might show a reliable horse. You have never been one for foolish dreams, Emma. That is your value. He walked away, leaving her beside the column once more. The music swelled. Caroline spun past, breathless and glowing. Emma pressed her hand against the cool marble, grounding herself. She did not have foolish dreams. She had learned better. A woman with no dowry and an aging face had no business imagining a different life. But across the ballroom, she could still feel the echo of grey eyes that had seen her when no one else did. The night wore on. Emma helped Mary adjust a torn hem. She fetched Caroline lemonade when the girl grew flushed from dancing. She smiled politely at Mrs. Dalton's cutting remarks about her simple dress. She fulfilled her role. As the final waltz began, Emma moved toward the retiring room, grateful for the approaching end. But as she passed through the columned hallway, she heard footsteps behind her. Miss Fairchild. She turned. The Duke of Wexbury stood 3 paces away, his expression unreadable in the dimmer light of the corridor. He was taller than she had realized. The severity of his features softened slightly in shadow, revealing a handsomeness she had not noticed from a distance. Emma dropped into a proper curtsy, her mind racing. Your Grace. Forgive the intrusion. His voice was deep, measured with the cadence of a man who chose each word deliberately. I wish to inquire after your comfort this evening. It was such a strange question that Emma nearly laughed. My comfort, sir. You have stood by that column for much of the evening. I wondered if you were unwell. So he had noticed, not just the single glance, but her presence throughout the night. Emma felt heat creep up her neck. I am quite well. Thank you for your concern. His grey eyes studied her with an intensity that made her breath shallow. You are Mr. Fairchild's eldest daughter. I am. The one who does not dance. The one who is not asked, Emma corrected before she could stop herself. Then, horrified by her boldness, she added quickly, Forgive me, that was inappropriate. But something flickered in his expression. Not offense, almost amusement. Honesty is rarely inappropriate, Miss Fairchild, merely inconvenient. Silence stretched between them. Emma searched for something to say, but her mind had gone blank. He was a duke. She was nobody. This conversation should not be happening. I find ballrooms exhausting, Wexbury said finally. The performance required, the insincerity. Then why attend? The question escaped before caution could catch it. This time he definitely almost smiled. Duty, Miss Fairchild. The tedious companion of title. Something in his tone, resignation mixed with irony, made Emma's chest tighten. I understand duty, Your Grace. Their eyes met again. In that moment, standing in the shadowed corridor while music drifted from the ballroom, Emma felt the weight of recognition. They were both prisoners of expectation, playing roles neither had chosen. Good evening, Miss Fairchild. He bowed, a gesture of respect that startled her. I hope we may speak again. Before she could respond, he turned and walked back toward the ballroom, his footsteps measured and even. Emma stood alone in the corridor, her heart pounding against her ribs. Her hand rose to her throat, feeling the wild pulse there. It meant nothing, she told herself. A moment's curiosity from a bored nobleman, nothing more. But as she returned to collect her sisters for the carriage ride home, as she listened to Mary chatter about Captain Thornbury's attentions and Caroline sigh over Lord Pemberton's son, Emma could not shake the memory of grey eyes that had looked at her, truly looked, and seen something worth acknowledging. That night in the small bedroom she had occupied since childhood, Emma sat by the window and watched moonlight paint silver across the rooftops of London. Her mother's music box sat on the dresser, empty now, its contents sold to pay for Mary's court presentation gown. She opened the window, letting cool air wash over her heated face. Somewhere in this city, the Duke of Wexbury returned to his grand house. Tomorrow he would forget their conversation. Tomorrow she would write to her mother's cousin in Bath and accept the companion position. Tomorrow everything would return to what it should be. But tonight, just for tonight, Emma let herself remember the weight of his gaze, the sound of his voice saying her name, the brief flicker of understanding that had passed between them like a shared secret. Tomorrow would come soon enough. Tonight, she allowed herself one foolish dream. Morning light filtered through the thin curtains of the Fairchild townhouse drawing room, illuminating worn upholstery and faded wallpaper that had once been fashionable. Emma sat near the window, mending one of Caroline's petticoats. Her needle moved in steady rhythm, a meditation that kept her hands busy and her mind quiet. The previous night felt like a fever dream. Surely she had imagined the intensity of that conversation, the way the Duke of Wexbury's voice had softened when he spoke of duty. Men like him did not confide in women like her. The front door knocker sounded. Emma glanced up, frowning. Morning callers were rare. The Fairchild's modest circumstances meant few people bothered with courtesy visits. She heard Betsy, their single remaining housemaid, hurrying down the hall, muffled voices, then footsteps approaching the drawing room. Betsy appeared in the doorway, her eyes wide with panic. "Miss Emma, the Duke of Wexbury is here. He asks to speak with the master and—" She swallowed hard. "With you." The petticoat slipped from Emma's fingers. "That cannot be correct. He is in the hall, miss. I put him in the morning room." Before Emma could respond, her father emerged from his study, hastily buttoning his waistcoat. His face held a mixture of confusion and desperate hope. "Emma, attend me. Now." She followed him down the narrow hallway, her pulse hammering in her throat. This made no sense. Dukes did not call on families like theirs. Dukes did not ask for daughters by name. The morning room was small, made smaller by Wexbury's presence. He stood beside the window, hands clasped behind his back, posture military straight. When Emma and her father entered, he turned. His grey eyes found Emma immediately, held for a heartbeat longer than propriety allowed, then shifted to Mr. Fairchild. "Your Grace." Her father's bow was too deep, too eager. "This is an unexpected honor. Mr. Fairchild." Wexbury's tone remained neutral. "Thank you for receiving me. I apologize for the early hour and the lack of formal notice." "Not at all, not at all." Her father gestured toward the settee. "Please sit. Emma, fetch tea." "That will not be necessary." Wexbury remained standing. "I prefer to speak plainly. Time is valuable." Emma's hands clasped together, her knuckles white beneath her gloves. Dread and something else, something frighteningly close to anticipation, coiled in her stomach. Wexbury's gaze moved between them, assessing. "I have come to discuss a matter of mutual benefit. I require a wife." The silence that followed was absolute. Mr. Fairchild's mouth opened, closed. Emma felt the floor tilt beneath her feet. "I have observed, Miss Fairchild," Wexbury continued, his voice even and businesslike, as if discussing a property transaction. "She demonstrates qualities I value: discretion, composure, intelligence. I believe she would manage my households with competence and represent the duchy with dignity." Emma's breath came shallow. He spoke of her as one might speak of hiring a particularly efficient housekeeper. "Your Grace, Her father stammered, clearly calculating. "This is most generous, most unexpected. My daughter would be honored, I am certain." "I have not yet asked her." Wexbury's eyes cut to Emma. "Miss Fairchild, I would speak with you directly, if I may." She managed a nod. Her voice had abandoned her entirely. "I do not offer romance," he said, and the bluntness felt like a blade. "I offer security, respect, and protection for you and your family. In return, I require a wife who will not demand what I cannot give. I need someone capable, sensible, who understands that affection is not always possible, but duty always is." Each word landed with precision. Emma heard what he did not say. "I will not love you. Do not expect it. Do not hope for it. The debts your father has accumulated," Wexbury continued, his tone still maddeningly calm, "would be settled. Your sister's future's secured. You would have standing, resources, autonomy within appropriate bounds." Mr. Fairchild made a small, choked sound. Emma's eyes burned. So he knew. The Duke of Wexbury had investigated them, discovered the shameful truth of their financial ruin, and arrived with a solution that tasted like charity wrapped in silk. "Why me?" Her voice emerged rough, barely above a whisper. You could have anyone. Someone younger, more beautiful, with family connections and fortune intact. For the first time, something flickered in Wexbury's expression. Not warmth exactly, but a crack in the armor. Because those women want things I will not provide. They want fairy tales. You, Miss Fairchild, appear to understand reality. It should have felt like an insult. Instead, it felt like the most honest thing anyone had ever said to her. I would treat you with respect, he added, his voice lowering slightly. You would be safe, your position unassailable. The marriage would be legal in all regards, but I will not pretend to offer what I do not possess. Affection, Emma said. The word hurt to speak. Yes. She looked at him, truly looked. The severe beauty of his features, the tension in his shoulders that never eased, the eyes that held secrets and walls and something very much like loneliness, though he would die before admitting it. I need time to consider, Emma said. Her father sputtered. Emma, do not be foolish. She is wise to ask for it. Wexbury's interruption was quiet but absolute. This is not a decision to make lightly. He reached into his coat and withdrew a small velvet box. If you accept, this was my mother's. It would be yours. He opened it. An emerald ring glinted in the morning light, surrounded by small diamonds. Beautiful, old, heavy with history. Emma stared at it, her throat tight. A ring without a love story, an offer without hope. Wexbury closed the box, set it on the side table. I will return tomorrow afternoon for your answer. Take the time you need, Miss Fairchild. He moved toward the door, then paused, turned back. His grey eyes found hers one more time. I trust your judgment, he said, and there was something in his voice, something almost gentle. Whatever you decide. Then he was gone. The front door closed. The house fell silent, except for her father's excited breathing. Emma, Mr. Fairchild gripped her shoulders. Do you understand what this means? The Duke of Wexbury. Our debts cleared. Your sisters will be able to marry properly. This is a miracle. It is a business arrangement, Emma said numbly. It is salvation. Her father's fingers tightened. You cannot refuse this. I will not allow it. Emma pulled away, walking to the window. Outside, she watched Wexbury's carriage disappear down the street. Elegant, impersonal, efficient. No flowers, no poetry. No promises of happiness. Just cold pragmatism and the weight of duty she had carried all her life. I need air, she whispered. Emma. But she was already moving, slipping from the room before her father could stop her. She climbed the stairs to her bedroom, closed the door and leaned against it, her breath coming in sharp gasps. Her eyes fell on the empty music box, on the mended dresses hanging in her wardrobe, on the stack of letters from her mother's cousin in Bath, describing the companion position in careful, pitying detail. She thought of Mary's laugh, Caroline's joy, her father's desperation, the creditors who would come eventually, stripping away even this modest house. She thought of grey eyes that looked at her without expectation, a voice that called her sensible as if it were a compliment, a man who offered truth instead of pretty lies. Emma moved to her writing desk, pulled out paper. Her hand shook as she wrote to her mother's cousin. Dear Mrs. Henshaw, I must regretfully decline your generous offer. Circumstances have changed. Please accept my deepest gratitude for your kindness. She folded the letter, sealed it, set it aside. Then she sat by the window as afternoon sun warmed the floorboards and thought about what it meant to choose duty over hope, to accept respect instead of love, to become a duchess without becoming beloved. That evening, Mary burst into her room, eyes shining. Is it true? Captain Thornbury told Caroline that the Duke of Wexbury was seen entering our house this morning. Emma, what does it mean? Emma turned from the window. It means everything changes. How wonderful! Mary clasped her hands together. Oh, Emma, imagine. You will be a duchess. We will all be saved. Saved. As if Emma were drowning and Wexbury the shore. Perhaps she was. Perhaps they all were. That night Emma lay awake staring at the ceiling. She thought of the emerald ring in its velvet box, of broad shoulders that never relaxed, of a man who had learned to armor himself so completely that he could propose marriage without a flicker of emotion. I do not offer romance, The words echoed. She should accept them, she should be grateful. But in the darkness, Emma pressed her hand against her chest, feeling her heartbeat. She remembered the moment in Almac's corridor when Wexbury had almost smiled, when his voice had softened, when she had glimpsed the person beneath the Duke. Affection is not always possible. Perhaps not. But Emma had spent her life being practical, being sensible, being what others needed her to be. Tomorrow she would give her answer. Tomorrow she would choose the safe path, the dutiful path, the path that saved everyone except, perhaps, herself. But tonight, she let herself ache for what she would never have, for the fairy tale he promised not to provide, for the foolish, impossible hope that somewhere beneath all that armor, Joseph Ashford might one day learn to feel something more than duty. Tomorrow would come soon enough. Tonight she mourned the girl who still believed in love. The Duke of Wexbury arrived precisely at 3. Emma watched his carriage approach from her window, hands clenched. She wore her best green muslin, her mother's dress, appropriate for a marriage without romance. Downstairs her father paced. Wexbury entered with controlled grace, his eyes finding Emma immediately, searching for her answer. "Your Grace," Emma curtsied. "I accept your terms." Her father exhaled in relief. Wexbury's shoulders lowered fractionally. "I am honored." He turned to Mr. Fairchild. "I will speak with Miss Fairchild privately." When they were alone, he moved to the window. "I want to ensure you understand what this entails. You have been clear. Joseph," he turned, "when we are private, call me Joseph. I will call you Emma, if you permit. Intimacy of names without intimacy of feeling." She nodded. He studied her. "You did not sleep." "No. That troubles me more than I anticipated." He stepped closer. "Emma, if you have doubts—" "I have many doubts, but they do not change my answer." She met his eyes. "You offer security, protection for those I love. These are not small things. They are transactional things. Yes, you were honest about what you cannot give. I am honest about why I accept what you can." Pain flickered across his features. "I will try to make this comfortable. You will have your own chambers. I will not demand more than necessary." Heat crept up her neck. "I understand." "Do you?" He moved closer. "I am not cruel, Emma. I will never force—" "I know. I would not have accepted otherwise." They stood separated by less than an arm's length and an ocean of unspoken things. He withdrew the velvet box, opened it. The emerald glowed. "May I?" Emma extended her left hand. It trembled. Joseph took her hand. His fingers were warm through her glove, his touch careful. He slid the ring onto her finger. "It fit perfectly." "It suits you," he said softly, not releasing her hand. "Better than it ever suited my mother." "Was she happy?" "Your mother?" His jaw tightened. "No. She married my father for duty. He was cold, she deserved warmth." His thumb brushed her knuckles. "And he gave her none. You fear you are like him." Surprise broke through his control. "You see too much, or you hide too little." Emma turned her hand in his, palms nearly touching. "I am not afraid of you." "Perhaps you should be. I do not know how to be what you need." "Then we will learn together." Joseph smiled, small, barely there, but real. "You are braver than I gave you credit for. Or more foolish." "Never foolish." His fingers tightened. "Never that." He released her hand, stepped back. The mask returned. "The wedding should be soon, a fortnight, small and simple. Agreeable. Your father's debts will be settled this week." He moved to the door, paused. "Ashbourne Hall is large. You will not feel trapped. I promise you that. Joseph." He turned. "Thank you for your honesty." Something softened in his expression. "You deserve it, Emma. Even when it is not what you wish to hear." 2 weeks passed in preparation. The wedding would be at St. George's, small and private. Emma's gown was ivory silk, simple, no veil. She would marry with clear eyes. The ceremony was brief. Emma walked the aisle on her father's arm. Joseph stood in dark blue, composed. When their eyes met, she saw recognition, acceptance, perhaps gratitude. They spoke vows in steady voices. When the vicar pronounced them married, Joseph kissed her. Chaste, brief, but his lips were warm and his hand at her waist steadied her. She was Emma Ashford, Duchess of Wexbury. The carriage carried them toward Kent. Joseph sat across from her, occasionally glancing up. "Are you well?" he asked. "Yes. You are very quiet. I am thinking about whether I have made a terrible mistake or the wisest decision of my life." He set down his papers. "I cannot answer that." "I know. Time will reveal it. I hope you will not regret this, Emma, and I hope you will not regret choosing me." Understanding passed between them, both gambling on something neither fully comprehended. As twilight painted the sky, the carriage turned down a drive lined with ancient oaks. Ashbourne Hall rose against the darkening sky. Stone and glass and history. Enormous. Beautiful. Emma's new home. "Welcome to Ashbourne, Your Grace," Joseph said quietly. The title startled her. She was a duchess now. The carriage stopped. Joseph descended, offered his hand. When her feet touched the gravel, she looked up at the house. Lights glowed. Staff stood assembled, waiting. Joseph's hand remained on hers, warm and steady. "Shall we?" Emma took a breath. Nodded. Together they walked toward the house, toward whatever future awaited in this marriage without love. This arrangement built on honesty and duty, and the desperate hope that perhaps somehow it would be enough. Inside, the entrance hall soared above them. Marble floors, portraits of ancestors watching with painted eyes. Harrington, the silver-haired butler, bowed deeply. "Your Grace, Your Grace, welcome home." Mrs. Willis, the housekeeper, stepped forward, a woman of perhaps 50 with kind eyes. "We are honored, Your Grace. If you would like, I can show you to your chambers." Emma glanced at Joseph. He nodded. "Rest. We will dine at 8. She followed Mrs. Willis up the grand staircase, down corridors lined with paintings and tapestries. Her chambers were in the east wing, a suite of rooms overlooking the gardens. A sitting room with a fireplace, a bedroom with a canopied bed, a dressing room already arranged with her modest belongings. "His Grace's chambers are in the west wing," Mrs. Willis said carefully. "Connected by the gallery, should you need anything. Separate wings, separate lives under one roof." Emma moved to the window. Gardens stretched toward woodland, twilight painting everything in shades of blue. Beautiful and vast and lonely. That night at dinner, they sat at opposite ends of a table that could seat 20. Candlelight flickered between them. They spoke of practical things, household routines, estate matters, the village, safe topics, surface topics. But Emma watched him when he did not notice, the way candlelight softened his severe features, the careful precision of his movements, the loneliness he wore like armor. And once she caught him watching her too. Their eyes met across the distance. Something flickered there. Question, curiosity, perhaps the faintest whisper of possibility. Then he looked away. Later, alone in her grand bed, Emma stared at the canopy above. She was Duchess of Wexbury, mistress of Ashbourne Hall. She had saved her family, secured her sister's futures, done what duty required. So why did her chest ache with this strange, dangerous longing? Outside her window, the moon rose over unfamiliar gardens. Somewhere in the west wing, Joseph lay awake in his own separate chamber. Between them stretched the length of Ashbourne Hall, and the immeasurable distance of everything unspoken. Emma woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, disoriented, she forgot where she was. Then, memory returned. Ashbourne Hall, the marriage, Joseph in a distant wing. A soft knock. A young maid entered with a curtsy. "Good morning, Your Grace. I am Lily, assigned to your service. Mrs. Willis asks if you would like breakfast in your chambers or the morning room." "Your Grace." Emma would never grow accustomed to it. "The morning room, thank you." She dressed in a simple day gown of pale blue, letting Lily arrange her hair. Everything felt strange. Being served, being called Duchess, inhabiting rooms larger than her entire London house. The morning room was smaller than the dining hall, blessedly intimate. Sunlight warmed the space. Joseph sat reading correspondence, coffee steaming beside him. He looked up when she entered, rising immediately. "Good morning." His tone was formal, but something in his eyes softened. "I hope you slept well." A lie would be easier. "The bed is very comfortable. The house very quiet." Too quiet, perhaps. He held her chair, a gesture of courtesy that made her pulse quicken. You are accustomed to sisters who chatter. Yes. Emma smiled slightly. This silence will take adjustment. They ate breakfast with careful politeness. Joseph explained estate matters, tenants, crop rotations, village concerns. Emma listened, memorizing details. This was her role now: Duchess, administrator, keeper of household order. I must visit the northern fields today, Joseph said, setting down his cup. But tomorrow, if you are willing, I would like to introduce you to my grandmother. Emma's hand stilled on her teacup. The Dowager Duchess. Yes, she lives in the Dower House, a mile east. She is... He paused, choosing words carefully. Formidable. She will wish to assess you. Assess whether I am worthy of the title. Assess whether you will survive it. His grey eyes held hers. She is not cruel, Emma, but she values strength. Weakness invites her disdain. Then I shall endeavour not to appear weak. Something like approval flickered across his face. You could not if you tried. After he left for the fields, Mrs. Willis appeared. If your grace is ready, I thought we might tour the house. You should know your domain. Domain. As if Emma ruled this vast estate, but she followed Mrs. Willis through corridors and chambers, ballrooms unused for years, libraries with thousands of volumes, galleries lined with Ashford ancestors watching from gilded frames. The house felt like a museum of lives lived and lost. His Grace's mother, the late Duchess, Mrs. Willis said, pausing before a portrait. A delicate woman with sad eyes looked out from the canvas. She loved the gardens, established the rose arbor and the medicinal herb garden. She looks unhappy. Mrs. Willis glanced at her, surprise and approval mixing. She was, Your Grace. The fourth Duke was not a kind husband. She found solace in her plants and her charities, the village school, the small infirmary. His Grace maintains them in her memory. Emma studied the painted face. Joseph's mother, trapped in a loveless marriage to a cold man. History repeating itself. Does His Grace visit the gardens often? Emma asked. Never, Your Grace. Too many ghosts, I suspect. That afternoon, Emma walked the grounds alone. She found the rose arbor, overgrown now but still beautiful. The herb garden was carefully maintained, neat rows of lavender and chamomile releasing fragrance into the warm air. A small stone bench sat beneath an oak. She imagined the sad-eyed Duchess sitting here seeking peace. Emma touched the weathered stone, feeling kinship with a woman she had never met. The next morning, Joseph's carriage carried them toward the Dower House. Emma wore green silk, her best effort at looking Duchess-like. Joseph sat across from her, unusually tense. My grandmother is 83, he said. Her mind remains sharp. She will ask questions you may find intrusive. Answer honestly. She detects lies instantly. What does she know of our arrangement? Everything. I do not dissemble with her. His jaw tightened. She is the only person I cannot hide from. The vulnerability in his admission made Emma's chest ache. The Dower House was elegant, smaller than Ashbourne, but imposing nonetheless. A butler showed them to a sunlit drawing room where Augusta Ashford, Dowager Duchess of Wexbury, sat like a queen on her throne. She was smaller than Emma expected, boned thin with white hair arranged severely. But her eyes, the same grey as Joseph's, were sharp as blades. She studied Emma with unnerving intensity. So, her voice carried aristocratic precision, this is the girl who turned London upside down. Emma curtsied deeply. Your Grace. Sit, child, let me look at you properly. Augusta gestured imperiously. Joseph, pour tea. Make yourself useful. Joseph obeyed without protest, which told Emma everything about the power dynamic. Augusta's gaze never left Emma's face. You are older than I expected. Plain dress, modest demeanor. Not the usual fare my grandson attracts. She sipped tea. Tell me, girl, why did you accept his proposal? The directness stole Emma's breath. Beside her, Joseph stiffened. To save my family from ruin, Emma said quietly. Honesty. Joseph had said his grandmother demanded it. My father's debts threatened everything. Your grandson offered salvation. So you married for money. I married for survival. There is a difference. Augusta's eyebrows rose. Indeed. And what do you think of my grandson? Emma glanced at Joseph. His face was carefully blank, but tension radiated from him. I think he is honorable. Honest to the point of brutality, he offered me truth instead of pretty lies. I respect that. Do you love him? The question landed like a blow. Emma's throat tightened. No, Your Grace. He made clear that love is not part of our arrangement. Augusta turned to Joseph. Leave us. Grandmother, leave. I wish to speak with your wife privately. Joseph's eyes met Emma's, a silent question. She nodded slightly. He rose, bowed, and departed. The door closed with quiet finality. Silence stretched. Augusta set down her teacup with precise care. My son was a monster, she said flatly. Cruel, cold, incapable of warmth. He broke his wife slowly, methodically. I watched and did nothing. My failure and my shame. Her grey eyes pierced Emma. Joseph was 7 when his mother died. His father sent him away to school immediately. No mourning period. No gentleness. The boy learned to survive by becoming stone. Emma's hands clenched in her lap. He thinks he is like his father. Augusta's voice softened fractionally. He fears cruelty lives in his blood, so he keeps everyone at distance, offers duty instead of feeling. He believes it is kindness. It is loneliness, Emma whispered. Yes. Augusta leaned forward. But loneliness can be unlearned if the right person has patience. Do you understand what I'm saying, child? Emma looked at the old woman. Behind the severity, she saw concern. Love, even. For the boy who became Duke, who armored himself to avoid inflicting his father's wounds. You are telling me he is worth the effort. I am telling you that beneath the steel, there is a good man who has forgotten how to be soft. Augusta's hand, gnarled with age, reached out to cover Emma's. Be constancy, not noise. Be there when the armor cracks. Do not demand what he cannot give, but do not accept less than what he can. What if he never learns? What if the armor never breaks? Then you will have a respectful marriage devoid of joy. Augusta's grip tightened. But I do not think that will be your fate. I have watched my grandson for 30 years. I saw how he looked at you when you entered this room. He does not know what he feels yet. But something has begun. Emma's heart pounded. What did you see? Worry. Care. The faintest whisper of hope. Augusta released her hand. Joseph has not hoped for anything beyond duty in many years. You have awakened something. Do not waste it. When Joseph returned, Emma's composure was intact, but her mind raced. Augusta smiled, a rare, genuine expression. Your wife has spine, Joseph. I approve. She waved them away. Go. I tire easily these days. But Emma, you will visit me weekly. I enjoy straight talk too much to lose it now. In the carriage returning to Ashbourne, Joseph sat silent. Finally he spoke. What did she say to you? Emma studied him, the rigid posture, the carefully neutral expression. Beneath it, vulnerability, fear of what his grandmother might have revealed. She told me about your mother, your father, the boy who went to school too young. Joseph's jaw clenched. She had no right. She had every right. She loves you. Emma leaned forward, closing the distance between them. Joseph, I do not pity you. But I understand you better now. Understanding does not change what I am. Perhaps not, but it changes how I see you. She reached out, let her gloved hand rest on his knee, a bold gesture. You are not your father. His hand covered hers, gripping almost too tightly. How can you know that? Because your father would never fear becoming him. Cruelty does not question itself. Something broke in his expression. For a moment, the armor cracked. Emma saw pain, uncertainty, the ghost of a boy who had learned to survive by not feeling. I do not know how to be what you might need, he said roughly. Then be what you are, that is enough. His thumb moved across her knuckles, a caress so gentle it made her breath catch. You are extraordinary, Emma. I chose better than I knew. The words settled into her chest, warming places that had been cold for too long. That evening, Joseph found her in the library. 2 stories of books surrounded them, leather and paper and possibility. He showed her volumes on estate management, histories, even poetry he claimed never to read. "This was my sanctuary as a boy," he said quietly, running his hand along a shelf. "When the house felt too large and too empty." "It still feels empty sometimes," Emma said. "All these rooms for just us." "Yes," he turned to face her, "but less empty than before you came." They stood in the fading light, surrounded by thousands of stories, beginning to write their own. It was not love. Not yet. But it was something. A crack in the armor, a whisper of possibility, and for now that was enough. The days at Ashbourne Hall settled into rhythm. Emma woke early, breakfasted with Joseph when estate business allowed, then spent mornings with Mrs. Willis learning the intricate machinery of running a ducal household. Linen inventories, menu planning, staff schedules, the delicate politics of village relations, each detail mattered. "The tenants respect fairness above all," Mrs. Willis explained as they reviewed accounts in the housekeeper's room. "The late Duchess was beloved because she listened. The fourth Duke never bothered." Emma absorbed everything. This was her domain now, her responsibility. She would not fail it. Afternoons brought correspondence, thank you notes, invitations, the careful navigation of social obligations. Emma's hand cramped from writing, but she persevered. A duchess had duties, but evenings belonged to the library. She had discovered it properly on her third day at Ashbourne. 2 stories of books connected by a spiral staircase, windows overlooking the gardens, leather chairs worn soft with age. Heaven in wood and paper. That first evening, she had been reading near the fireplace when Joseph entered. He stopped in the doorway, surprise crossing his features. "I did not mean to disturb you," he said. "You are not disturbing. It is your library. Ours." He moved closer, glancing at the book in her lap. "What are you reading?" Emma showed him the spine. "A history of the Tudor court. I found it on the second gallery. My mother's collection." Something softened in his voice. She loved history. "So do I." Emma hesitated, then added, "Though I confess to enjoying Gothic romances as well, Mrs. Radcliffe is a weakness." She expected judgment. Instead, Joseph's lips curved slightly. "I will not tell anyone if you do not reveal that I read poetry when no one is watching." "Poetry?" Emma could not hide her surprise. "Truly." "Milton mostly. Sometimes Donne." He looked almost embarrassed. "Words have order, structure. They make sense when nothing else does." It was the most personal thing he had shared. Emma set down her book. "Will you read something to me?" Joseph blinked. "Now?" "Why not? There is no one to witness your secret." For a moment, she thought he would refuse. Then he moved to a shelf, selected a slim volume, and sat in the chair across from hers. The firelight played across his features as he opened the book. His voice, when he read, transformed. The formality fell away, replaced by something richer, deeper. The words were Donne, complex, passionate, real. Emma watched his face as he read, saw him disappear into the verse. When he finished, silence held them. Their eyes met across the space between chairs. "That was beautiful," Emma said softly. "Thank you." He closed the book carefully. "I have not read aloud since my mother died. She used to ask me to read to her in the gardens. I am honored you shared it with me." Something passed between them, a thread of connection, fragile but real. After that, evenings developed a pattern. They would find each other in the library, settle into their chairs and read, sometimes aloud, sharing passages, sometimes in comfortable silence, the only sound turning pages and crackling fire. One evening, Joseph asked what she thought of Ashbourne. "It is beautiful," Emma said honestly, "but vast. Sometimes I feel I could wander for days and never see the same room twice. I felt that way as a child. The house was a labyrinth." He set down his book. "Would you like me to show you more of it? The parts that matter?" "Yes, I would like that very much." The next afternoon, Joseph took her through the portrait gallery, telling stories of ancestors, some heroic, some scandalous, all long dead. He showed her the music room where his mother had played pianoforte, the conservatory filled with exotic plants, the old nursery in the attic, dusty and forgotten. I hid here once for an entire day, Joseph said, looking at the small rocking horse in the corner. I was 8. My father had been particularly cruel. No one found me until dinner. Emma touched his arm gently. You were brave to survive him. I was alone. He looked down at her hand on his sleeve, then covered it with his own. I am grateful not to be anymore. Their fingers intertwined naturally. Neither pulled away. Days passed. Emma gained confidence in her role. She visited the village with Mrs. Willis, met tenants, learned names. The small school her mother-in-law had founded needed repairs. Emma made plans with the village steward. The infirmary lacked proper supplies. She ordered medicines from London. When she told Joseph at dinner, he listened intently. You are transforming this place already. I am simply doing what should be done. No. His grey eyes held hers. You are doing what I should have done years ago. I have been neglectful. You have been managing an estate alone. That is not neglect. Perhaps, but you see what I missed. He reached across the table, a bold gesture, and touched her hand briefly. Thank you, Emma. The touch lingered in her skin long after he withdrew. One rainy afternoon, Emma ventured to the village school. A small stone building with one large room, drafty and cold. Miss Pemberton, the elderly teacher, looked exhausted managing 30 children of varying ages. Emma saw the peeling walls, the broken window panes, the insufficient books. She spent an hour observing, noting what was needed. That evening, she found Joseph in his study. He looked up from his desk, surprised by the interruption. Emma, is something wrong? The school needs attention. The building, the supplies, another teacher. She set her notes before him. I took the liberty of estimating costs. If you approve, I would like to oversee the improvements. Joseph scanned her neat columns, her detailed observations. When he looked up, admiration shone in his eyes. You did this in one afternoon? I saw what was needed. Miss Pemberton is dedicated but overwhelmed. The children deserve better. They do. He stood, moved around the desk until he stood before her. You are remarkable. Do you know that? Heat flooded Emma's cheeks. I am simply being practical. You are being compassionate. His hand rose, hesitated, then gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. The touch was feather-light, intimate. My mother would have loved you. Emma's breath caught. His fingers lingered near her temple, his face close enough that she could see gold flecks in his grey eyes. Time suspended. She wondered if he would kiss her, truly kiss her, not the chaste wedding kiss. Then he stepped back, clearing his throat. Approve whatever the school needs, spare no expense. The moment broke, but the warmth of his touch remained. Another evening in the library, they sat closer than usual. Joseph had been reading aloud, Shakespeare this time, a sonnet about love defying time. When he finished, Emma found herself studying his profile. Do you believe that? She asked. That love can defy time and mortality? I do not know. He closed the book. I have never experienced it. Neither have I. Their eyes met. The fire popped. Outside, rain pattered against windows. Would you want to? Joseph asked quietly. Experience it. Emma's heart pounded. I think everyone wants to feel that deeply, even when it frightens them. Yes, even then. He leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, bringing his face level with hers. You frighten me, Emma. Why? Because you make me want things I thought impossible. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. Because when you walk into a room, the house feels less empty. Because I think about you when I should be thinking about crop rotations and tenant disputes. Emma could barely breathe. Joseph, I know. This was not our arrangement. He reached for her hand, threading their fingers together. But I find our arrangement insufficient. What are you saying? I am saying that somewhere between the wedding and now, between books and conversations and watching you transform Ashbourne into something living again. He paused, searching for words. I am saying that I am beginning to care for you in ways I did not anticipate. Joy and terror warred in Emma's chest. I care for you too, she admitted. More than is wise, given what we agreed. Then perhaps we should renegotiate our agreement. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Perhaps we should allow this to become something more. Are you certain? You said you could not offer— I said many foolish things. I am learning I was wrong. He brought her hand to his lips, pressed a kiss to her knuckles. I do not know how to love you, Emma. Not yet. But I would like to try. Tears pricked Emma's eyes. Yes, I would like that very much. Joseph smiled then, a real smile, unguarded and warm. He pulled her closer, wrapped his arms around her. Emma rested her head against his chest, heard his heartbeat strong and steady. They sat like that as fire burned low and rain washed the windows. Two people who had entered a contract discovering something neither had planned. Something fragile and precious and terrifying. Something that felt remarkably like hope. The morning began with unusual brightness. Emma woke to sunlight flooding her chambers, birdsong drifting through open windows. She dressed with care, choosing a rose-colored gown that brought color to her cheeks. Tonight, Joseph had promised to dine with her in the smaller drawing room rather than the formal dining hall. A small intimacy, but it mattered. Their connection had deepened in the week since his confession in the library. He sought her company deliberately now, touched her hand when they passed in hallways, smiled more easily. The armor was loosening, piece by careful piece. Emma descended for breakfast, anticipation light in her chest. But the morning room was empty. A note lay beside her place setting. Estate business requires my immediate attention. Forgive me. I will return by evening. Disappointment settled, but Emma pushed it aside. A duchess had duties too. She spent the morning with Mrs. Willis reviewing menus for the upcoming harvest festival. Ashbourne traditionally hosted tenants and village families, a tradition that had lapsed during the fourth Duke's reign. Emma intended to revive it. Afternoon found her in the rose arbor, sketching plans for the festival layout. The roses needed pruning, she noted. She would ask the head gardener tomorrow. Hoofbeats on gravel drew her attention. A carriage approached, elegant, unfamiliar, bearing no crest she recognized. Emma set down her sketching paper, brushing dirt from her skirts. Mrs. Willis appeared, hurrying from the house, her face concerned. Your Grace, a Lady Harrow has arrived. She claims the weather forced her to seek shelter. I put her in the blue drawing room. Something in Mrs. Willis's tone raised warning flags. Do you know this lady? By reputation, Your Grace. The housekeeper's mouth tightened. She was familiar with His Grace before your marriage. Emma's stomach clenched. I see. Thank you, Mrs. Willis. She entered through the garden doors, pausing to compose herself before walking to the blue drawing room. Through the open doorway, she glimpsed a vision in emerald silk. Vanessa Harrow stood before the window, perfectly framed by afternoon light. She was beautiful, stunningly so. Golden hair arranged in fashionable curls, features that belonged in portraits, a figure that made Emma suddenly, painfully aware of her own modest appearance. This woman radiated the confidence of someone who had never doubted her power. Emma entered. Lady Harrow, welcome to Ashbourne Hall. Vanessa turned, her blue eyes assessing Emma with the speed of a striking snake. A small smile curved her lips. Your Grace, how kind of you to receive me unexpectedly. Her voice was honey over steel. I do apologize for the intrusion. The weather turned suddenly. My driver insisted we seek shelter. Emma glanced out the window. Clear blue sky stretched endlessly, not a storm cloud visible. Of course, Emma said smoothly. You are welcome. Please sit. I will have tea brought. They arranged themselves on opposite sofas. Vanessa moved with practiced grace, every gesture calculated for maximum effect. Emma felt like a sparrow facing a peacock. You must be adjusting to life as a duchess, Vanessa said, accepting tea with elegant fingers. Such a change from your previous circumstances. The barb landed precisely. Emma kept her expression neutral. Change can be refreshing. Indeed, though Ashbourne must feel quite overwhelming. So many rooms, so much history. Vanessa sipped delicately. I visited often, you know. Before. Joseph, pardon me, His Grace, was always gracious in his hospitality. The casual use of his first name made Emma's jaw tighten. How fortunate for you. We were quite close once. Vanessa's eyes glittered. Before my late husband passed, of course, nothing inappropriate. But Joseph and I shared such understanding. We could speak for hours about art, literature, philosophy. She paused meaningfully. I imagine he must miss intellectual companionship. The implication was clear. You are not his equal. Emma set down her teacup with careful control. His Grace seems quite content with our conversations. How lovely. Vanessa's smile sharpened. Though I confess surprise at his choice. No offense intended, but you are rather unexpected. Joseph always seemed destined for someone with more presence, more sophistication. Each word was a carefully aimed dart. Emma felt her composure fraying, anger rising hot in her throat. Your Grace. Mrs. Willis appeared in the doorway. Pardon the interruption, but His Grace has returned. He is in his study. Relief flooded Emma. Thank you, Mrs. Willis. Please inform His Grace we have a guest. Vanessa's expression shifted, anticipation mixed with something triumphant. Joseph entered moments later, still in riding clothes, dust on his boots. His eyes found Emma first, concern immediate. Emma, I apologize for... Then he saw Vanessa. Every muscle in his body went rigid. Lady Harrow. His voice could have frozen water. This is unexpected. Vanessa rose, her smile brilliant. Joseph, how wonderful to see you. I was caught in the weather and took liberty seeking shelter. She moved toward him with familiar ease. You look well. Marriage clearly agrees with you. The weather is clear. Joseph did not move from Emma's side. There is no storm. Perhaps I was mistaken. Vanessa's hand fluttered to her throat. But surely you would not turn away an old friend? No, I would offer appropriate hospitality and see that friend on her way. Joseph's tone remained glacial. Mrs. Willis, please prepare the guest chamber in the East Wing. Lady Harrow will stay tonight and depart first thing tomorrow. It was dismissal wrapped in courtesy. Vanessa's smile faltered. Of course, she said. You are most kind. I shall freshen up before dinner. She glided past them, victory in every step. When the door closed, Joseph turned to Emma immediately. Are you all right? Emma wanted to say yes. Instead, tears pricked her eyes. She called you Joseph. She spoke of hours together. She made it clear, I am inadequate. Emma, no. He pulled her close, his arms solid around her. You are not inadequate. You are everything she is not. Genuine, kind, real. She is beautiful. She is poison dressed in silk. Joseph's voice was rough. I need to tell you about her, about what happened. They sat, Emma's hand clasped tightly in his. 5 years ago, before my father died, Vanessa and I were... He paused, choosing words carefully. Courting is too strong. But there was understanding. Her husband was elderly, dying. Society expected us to marry after appropriate mourning. What happened? I discovered she had been unfaithful. Multiple affairs while her husband lay dying. She lied about everything, her feelings, her fidelity, her character. Joseph's jaw clenched. She wanted the duchy, not me. When I confronted her, she did not deny it. She laughed. Emma's fingers tightened around his. That is why you proposed an honest arrangement to me. Why you value truth above all. Yes, she taught me that beauty and charm can mask corruption. His grey eyes held hers intensely. But you taught me that integrity can shine without decoration. I chose you because you do not lie, Emma. Not to me, not to yourself. She still wants you. She wants what I represent, position, wealth, the duchy. He cupped her face gently. But I am yours now, in ways I never was hers, even when I thought I might marry her. Why is she here? To unsettle you, to reclaim what she believes she lost. Joseph's thumb brushed her cheek. But she has already failed. Whatever game she plays, she cannot touch what we have built. Emma wanted to believe him, but doubt whispered. Vanessa was everything Emma was not. Beautiful, sophisticated, educated in ways that mattered to high society. What if Joseph realized his mistake? I see your doubt, Joseph said softly. Please, do not let her poison you against yourself. You are extraordinary, Emma. More extraordinary than you know. Dinner that evening was excruciating. Vanessa held court, telling amusing anecdotes about London society, dropping names of viscounts and earls, demonstrating her worldliness. She directed most conversation toward Joseph, reminiscing about shared experiences. "Do you remember the opera at Covent Garden?" she asked, laughing. "When Lord Ashby fell asleep and snored through the entire third act?" "Vaguely," Joseph said, his tone flat. "And the Pemberton ball where we danced until dawn. I do not recall dancing past midnight with anyone." Each memory Vanessa offered, Joseph deflected, but the message was clear. They shared a past Emma could never touch. After dinner, Emma excused herself early, claiming fatigue. In her chambers, she stared at her reflection, plain Emma Fairchild playing Duchess. Did Joseph regret his choice? A knock. Joseph entered without waiting for answer, unusual for him. "She leaves tomorrow," he said without preamble. "At dawn, I will personally ensure it. She cares for you still. She cares for what I represent. There is a difference." He moved closer. "Emma, I need you to understand something. What I felt for Vanessa years ago was infatuation, shallow attraction to surface beauty. It was not real, and what you feel for me is terrifying." He took her hands. "Because it is real. Because losing it would destroy me in ways losing Vanessa never could." Emma searched his face, found only sincerity. "I am not sophisticated," she whispered. "I cannot dazzle drawing rooms or quote philosophy." "No. You simply make me want to be better. You see me, the broken parts, the difficult parts, and you stay." His voice cracked slightly. "That is worth more than 1,000 Vanessas." He pulled her into his arms. Emma buried her face in his chest, breathing him in. Leather and soap, and something uniquely Joseph. "Do not let her make you doubt yourself," he murmured against her hair. "You are my choice, my only choice." They stood like that, holding each other as twilight deepened beyond the windows. Outside Emma's door, Vanessa's laughter drifted from somewhere below, a reminder that beauty could wound. But in Joseph's arms, Emma chose to believe, chose to trust that what they were building mattered more than what came before. Tomorrow, Vanessa would leave. Tonight, Emma held fast to the man who chose truth over beauty, who saw her worth when the world did not. It would have to be enough. Vanessa departed at first light, her carriage rolling away from Ashbourne Hall like retreating storm clouds. Emma watched from her window, relief loosening the knots in her shoulders. Joseph had been true to his word, cold courtesy at breakfast, firm farewells, and an expression that left no room for misinterpretation. The past was finished, but the poison Vanessa had dripped lingered. Emma dressed slowly, studying her reflection with critical eyes, plain features, modest figure. Nothing extraordinary. Why had Joseph truly chosen her? She pushed the thoughts aside. There was work to do. The harvest festival required planning, and Mrs. Willis needed decisions about the village families attending. Days passed. Summer deepened, heat settling over Kent like a blanket. Emma threw herself into preparations, organizing activities for children, coordinating with the village baker for bread, arranging tables in the great lawn. Joseph watched her orchestrate everything with quiet admiration. "You have transformed this place," he said one evening in the library. They sat closer now, knees almost touching. "The staff speak of nothing but your kindness." "I am simply doing what should have been done long ago." "No." His hand covered hers on the armrest. "You are breathing life into something that was dying." Their eyes held. Emma's pulse quickened. Since Vanessa's departure, something had shifted between them. The air felt charged, anticipation humming beneath every conversation. Joseph touched her more, a hand at her waist guiding her through doorways, fingers brushing hers when passing books, his palm warm against her back. Emma wanted more. The realization both thrilled and terrified her. She wanted his kiss, his touch, his breath against her skin. The proper marriage of convenience was becoming inconveniently passionate. One afternoon, Joseph suggested riding to inspect the northern fields. Emma had not ridden in years, her family could not afford horses, but she agreed. Joseph selected a gentle mare, helped Emma into the saddle with hands that lingered at her waist. They rode through golden wheat fields, past tenant cottages where children waved. Joseph pointed out boundaries, explained crop rotations, but Emma found herself watching him instead. The easy way he sat his horse, the wind ruffling his dark hair, the rare smile that appeared when he was outdoors. "You are not listening," he said, catching her staring. "I am listening to different things." His eyes darkened. "What things?" "The sound of your voice when you are relaxed. The way you smile without guarding it out here." Emma felt bold in the open air. "You are different away from the house, because no one is watching." He guided his horse closer until their knees touched. "Except you. I am always watching you, Joseph." Heat flared in his gaze. "As I watch you. Constantly." Thunder rumbled in the distance. Emma glanced up. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, moving fast. The temperature dropped suddenly. "We should return," Joseph said, frowning at the sky. But they had ridden far. The storm hit before they reached Ashbourne. Sudden, violent summer rain sheeting down. Within seconds they were drenched. Joseph pointed toward a massive oak tree, its canopy offering minimal shelter. They dismounted, leading the horses beneath the branches. Rain pounded around them, turning the world silver. Emma's dress clung to her body, her carefully pinned hair collapsing in wet strands down her back. "I apologize," Joseph said, water streaming down his face. "I should have watched the weather." "It is only rain." Emma pushed soaked hair from her eyes, laughing despite the chill. "I will not melt." He stared at her, really stared. His eyes traced her face, the curve of her throat, the way wet fabric outlined her figure. Emma's laughter died. The air between them shifted, became electric. "Emma," his voice was rough. He reached out, his fingers catching a wet strand of her hair. "You are so beautiful. I am soaked and bedraggled. You are perfect." He wound the lock around his finger slowly. "Do you know what you do to me?" Her breath caught. "What do I do?" "You make me forget why I built walls in the first place." His hand moved from her hair to her face, cupping her cheek. His thumb traced her lower lip. "You make me want things I swore I would never want." "What things?" Emma whispered, though she knew. Could feel it in the tension of his body, the hunger in his eyes. "This." He pulled her closer, his other hand sliding to her waist. "You, in every way possible." Rain drummed around them. The world narrowed to his grey eyes, his breath mingling with hers, the heat of his body despite the cold water. "Joseph, tell me to stop." His forehead touched hers. "Tell me this is too much, too fast, and I will step back." Emma's hands rose to his chest, felt his heart pounding beneath her palms. "I do not want you to stop." Something broke in his expression. His mouth found hers, no hesitation this time, no chaste wedding kiss. This was need and desire and months of restraint shattering. His lips moved against hers with desperate tenderness, one hand tangling in her wet hair, the other pressing her close. Emma had never been kissed like this, never felt this consuming rush of sensation. She kissed him back, learning the shape of his mouth, the taste of him, rain and something darker, more intoxicating. Her fingers curled into his soaked shirt, anchoring herself. Joseph groaned against her lips, the sound vibrating through her. He backed her against the oak's trunk, his body shielding her from rain. The kiss deepened, his tongue sliding against hers, drawing a gasp from her throat. His hands roamed her back, her waist touching everywhere as if memorizing her shape. "Emma." He broke the kiss, breathing hard, his lips moving to her jaw, her throat. "Tell me you feel this too." "I feel it." Her head fell back, giving him access. "I feel everything." His mouth traveled her neck, finding the sensitive spot where her pulse hammered. "I tried to keep distance, tried to stay controlled." Another kiss, this one with teeth, making her whimper. "But you have destroyed every defense I built." "Good." Emma pulled his face back to hers, kissing him fiercely. "I do not want your defenses. I want you." The words unleashed something. Joseph kissed her until she was dizzy, until her knees weakened, until the only thing keeping her upright was his body pressed against hers. His hands explored boldly now, the curve of her hip, the small of her back, sliding up her ribcage with maddening slowness. Emma touched him too, running her fingers through his wet hair down his neck across the broad muscles of his shoulders. He felt strong and solid and real beneath her hands. When they finally broke apart, both gasping, Joseph rested his forehead against hers. "We should stop. You are cold and wet and—" "I am not cold." Emma's voice came breathless. "I am burning." His eyes blazed. "As am I. But if we do not return to the house soon, I will forget every gentleman's code I was taught. Perhaps I want you to forget." "Emma?" Her name was warning and prayer together. "Do not tempt me beyond endurance." She smiled, feeling powerful. "Is that what I do?" "Every moment of every day." He kissed her again, softer this time, lingering. "You have no idea how much I want you." "Then show me." Joseph groaned. "Not here. Not against a tree in the rain like this is some hurried affair." His hands framed her face. "When I make love to you, and I will, it will be with time and care and everything you deserve." The promise in his voice made her shiver. "When?" "Soon." He kissed her forehead, her closed eyelids, the tip of her nose. "Very soon. But first we need to get you warm and dry before you catch your death." The rain had lessened to drizzle. They mounted, rode back to Ashbourne in charged silence. Emma's body hummed with awakened desire, with the memory of his mouth on hers, his hands exploring. Everything had changed beneath that oak tree. At the house, Joseph helped her dismount, his hands lingering on her waist. "Go change. Warm yourself by the fire. I will see to the horses." "Joseph!" She caught his hand. "I do not regret what happened." "Neither do I." He brought her hand to his lips, kissing her knuckles. "But I fear I have made our arrangement significantly more complicated. Or infinitely better." His smile was crooked, genuine, devastating. "You may be right." Emma went to her chambers, where Lily fussed over her soaked state. As the maid helped her out of wet clothes into a warm dressing gown, Emma caught her reflection. Her lips were swollen from kissing, her eyes bright. Her hair a wild tangle. She looked like a woman who had been thoroughly kissed, and she wanted more. That evening, Joseph did not come to the library. Emma waited, disappointment settling. Perhaps he regretted his passion. Perhaps the rain had been temporary madness. A knock. Joseph entered her sitting room, bold and improper without summons. He wore simple shirt sleeves, his hair still damp. "I stayed away as long as I could," he said without preamble. "But I find I cannot." Emma rose from her chair. "I am glad you came." He crossed the room, pulled her into his arms. "I want to do this properly, court you as you deserve." "But Emma," his voice dropped, "I am not a patient man when it comes to you." "Then do not be patient." She touched his face. "I do not need courtship, I need you." "You are certain?" "I have never been more certain of anything." Joseph's kiss was answer and promise. When he finally pulled back, his breathing ragged, he pressed his lips to her temple. "Not tonight. Tonight I will show restraint if it kills me. But soon, Emma. Very soon." "Why not tonight?" "Because when I make love to my wife, I want her to have no doubts. About me, about us, about what we are building." He kissed her softly. "Tomorrow I have business in the village. When I return, if you still want this, want me, I will not hold back. Tomorrow." The word hung between them, promise and anticipation. "I will want you tomorrow," Emma whispered, "and the day after, and every day following." His smile was tender. "Then tomorrow cannot come fast enough." Emma woke before dawn, her body thrumming with anticipation. Today, tonight, Joseph had promised. The thought made her pulse race, and her skin feel too warm beneath the sheets. She dressed with care, choosing a gown of deep blue that brought out the color in her eyes. Lily arranged her hair simply, letting soft curls frame her face. When Emma looked in the mirror, she saw a woman transformed, no longer the forgotten daughter, but someone desired, wanted. Breakfast was subdued. Joseph had left early for the village, his note brief. "Business with the steward. I will return by evening. Wait for me. Wait for me." 2 words that held infinite promise. Emma tried to occupy herself. She reviewed menus with Mrs. Willis, though her mind wandered. She attempted to read in the library, but found herself staring at the chair where Joseph sat, remembering his voice reading poetry. She walked the gardens, pausing at the oak tree where yesterday's rain had changed everything. The day dragged interminably. Afternoon faded to dusk. Emma changed for dinner, this time choosing a gown of pale rose silk that slipped over her skin like water. Her hands trembled as Lily fastened the buttons. "Are you well, Your Grace?" the maid asked. "You seem flushed." "I am perfectly well, thank you, Lily." But her reflection betrayed her. Bright eyes, color high on her cheeks, lips she kept touching, remembering Joseph's kiss. She heard the front door, voices in the hall. Her heart leaped. Joseph was home. Emma descended the stairs slowly, forcing herself to maintain composure. Joseph stood in the entrance hall speaking with Harrington, still in riding clothes. When he saw her, he stopped mid-sentence. His eyes swept over her, darkening with unmistakable hunger. "Your Grace." Harrington bowed. "Shall I have dinner served?" "In an hour," Joseph said without looking away from Emma. "We are not to be disturbed." The butler's expression remained neutral, but Emma saw understanding flicker there. "Of course, Your Grace." Harrington withdrew. The house fell silent around them. Joseph crossed the hall, each step deliberate. When he reached her, his hand rose to touch her face with infinite gentleness. "You are breathtaking. You are still in riding clothes. I could not wait to see you." His thumb traced her jaw. "Did you think about today?" "Every moment." Emma's voice came breathless. "Did you?" "I thought of nothing else." He leaned down, his lips brushing her ear. "I nearly turned back 3 times. The business could have waited, but I wanted to do this properly. Give you time to be certain." "I am certain, Joseph." She turned her head, her lips nearly touching his. "I have been certain since yesterday." His control cracked. He kissed her there in the entrance hall, deep, claiming, full of the restraint he had been holding. His hands slid into her carefully arranged hair, loosening pins. Emma's fingers clutched his dusty coat, pulling him closer. When he pulled back, both breathing hard, his eyes burned. "Upstairs. Now. Before I take you against this wall where anyone could see." Heat flooded Emma's body. She took his offered hand, let him lead her up the stairs, not to her chambers in the east wing, but to his in the west, rooms she had never entered. His sitting room was masculine, spare, dominated by a large fireplace. Through an open door she glimpsed his bedroom, a massive bed with dark blue hangings, windows overlooking the grounds. Joseph closed and locked the door. The click of the lock felt impossibly loud. He turned to face her, and for a moment uncertainty flickered across his features. "Emma, if you have any doubt, any hesitation, tell me now. I will not be able to stop once we begin." She moved to him, placed her hands on his chest, felt his heart pounding beneath her palms. "I have no doubt. I want this. I want you. I have never—" He paused, vulnerability cracking through. "I have not done this with someone I care for. What if I fail you?" The confession made her love him more. "You could not fail me. We will learn together." She rose on her toes, kissed him softly. Joseph's arms came around her, gathering her close. The kiss deepened slowly, building heat. His hands found the buttons at her back, fingers working them open with surprising dexterity. "I have thought about this," he murmured against her lips, "about undressing you, seeing you, touching you everywhere." "Then do it." Emma's bold words surprised herself. "Stop holding back." Something unleashed in him. He slipped her gown from her shoulders, let it pool at her feet. His hands skimmed up her sides over her stays, learning her shape through the layers. Emma worked at his coat, his waistcoat, fumbling with buttons until he helped her, stripping away the barriers between them. When he stood in shirt sleeves, when she wore only stays and chemise, they paused. Joseph's eyes traveled over her with reverence. "You are beautiful," he said roughly. "So much more than I imagined." "You imagined this?" "Constantly. It has been torture." He pulled her close, his hands spanning her waist. "Seeing you across dinner tables, sitting near me in the library, knowing you were in the East Wing while I lay awake wanting you. I wanted you too." Emma traced the line of his jaw. "I did not know how to tell you. You are telling me now." He lifted her easily, carried her to the bedroom, laid her on the bed with such care she wanted to weep. "Let me show you what you mean to me." He unlaced her stays with patient fingers, removed her chemise until she lay bare before him. Emma fought the instinct to cover herself. Joseph's expression stopped her, wonder and desire and something deeper, more profound. "Perfect," he breathed. "You are perfect." He removed his remaining clothes. Emma's breath caught at the sight of him, lean muscle, broad shoulders, the evidence of how much he wanted her. He joined her on the bed, his body covering hers, skin against skin for the first time. The sensation was overwhelming. Emma gasped at the heat of him, the weight, the intimacy of it. Joseph kissed her slowly, thoroughly, while his hands explored, tracing her collarbone, cupping her breast, skimming down her ribs to her hip. Every touch built fire. Emma arched into him, her fingers digging into his shoulders. "Joseph, please." Slowly, he kissed down her throat, her chest, making her writhe. "I want to savor this. Savor you." His mouth found her breast. Emma cried out, her fingers tangling in his hair. Sensation spiraled through her, intense and new and perfect. He took his time, learning what made her gasp, what made her moan, what made her body bow beneath him. When his hand slid between her thighs, Emma thought she might shatter. "Joseph." "I know." His voice was strained. "I feel what I do to you. You are ready for me." "Yes, please. Yes." He positioned himself above her, his weight on his elbows, eyes locked with hers. "This might hurt. Tell me if it is too much." She nodded, unable to speak. Joseph kissed her as he entered slowly, carefully, giving her time to adjust. There was pressure, a brief, sharp pain that made her wince. He stopped immediately. "Emma, keep going." She wrapped her legs around him, pulling him deeper. "I want all of you." He moved carefully at first, watching her face for discomfort. But the pain faded, replaced by fullness, by the profound intimacy of being joined. Emma's hands roamed his back, feeling muscles shift beneath skin. "You feel..." Joseph's voice broke. "God, Emma. You feel like home." The rhythm built naturally. Their bodies learned each other, found cadence. Joseph buried his face in her neck, breathing her name like prayer. Emma held him tight, moving with him, climbing towards something she did not understand, but desperately needed. "Look at me," Joseph commanded roughly. "I want to see you." Their eyes met. The connection was almost too intense to bear, physical and emotional, pleasure and something far deeper. Emma felt tears prick her eyes at the beauty of it. "I am close," Joseph gasped. "Emma, I cannot... Let go." She touched his face. "I have you." He kissed her as he found release, his body shuddering in her arms. The intimacy of feeling him lose control sent Emma over her own edge. She cried out against his mouth, pleasure crashing through her in waves. They collapsed together, breathing hard, hearts racing. Joseph rolled to his side, pulling her with him, unwilling to separate yet. His hand stroked her hair, her back, gentle now. "Did I hurt you?" he asked quietly. "A little at first." "Then no." Emma pressed her lips to his chest. It was beautiful. It was everything. He tilted her face up, kissed her softly. "You are everything." They lay tangled together as twilight deepened outside. Joseph pulled the coverlet over them, cocooning them in warmth. Emma traced patterns on his chest, feeling peaceful and complete. "I was wrong," Joseph said into the quiet. "When I proposed. When I said I could not offer affection." Emma's heart stuttered. "Joseph, I love you." The words came raw and honest. "I do not know when it happened. Perhaps when you agreed to marry me. Perhaps in the library reading poetry. Perhaps yesterday in the rain. But I love you, Emma, deeply, completely." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I love you too. I have for weeks, but was afraid to say it." He kissed her tears away. "Never be afraid with me. Never hide what you feel. Then I will tell you every day." She smiled through her tears. "I love you, Joseph Ashford. my husband, my home. He held her close as darkness fell completely. They made love again later, slower this time, exploring without urgency, learning pleasure, building connection, cementing the bond that had begun with a practical proposal and become something neither had dared hope for. When Emma finally drifted to sleep in Joseph's arms, she felt completely safe, completely loved. The forgotten daughter had found her place, not through beauty or sophistication, but through honesty and strength, and a love that had grown quietly in library corners and garden walks. Tomorrow they would face the world as partners. Tonight they had each other. It was enough. It was everything. Morning light painted the bedroom in shades of gold. Emma woke wrapped in Joseph's arms, his chest warm against her back, his breath soft on her neck. For a moment, she simply existed in the perfection of it, safe, loved, completely content. Joseph stirred, his arms tightening around her. "Good morning, wife." His voice was rough with sleep, intimate in a way that made her shiver. "Good morning, husband." She turned in his embrace, finding his grey eyes warm and unguarded. "Did you sleep well?" "Better than I have in years." He traced her face with gentle fingers. "Waking beside you is something I could grow accustomed to. Then we should make a habit of it." They made love slowly in the morning light, tender and unhurried. Afterward, they lay tangled together, talking of small things and large dreams. Joseph spoke of expanding the village school, perhaps adding a lending library. Emma shared her hope of starting a women's charity, practical help for widows and families in need. "You think bigger than I do," Joseph said admiringly. "I manage what exists. You imagine what could be. We complement each other." "We do." He kissed her forehead. "In every way." Over breakfast, taken in Joseph's sitting room rather than facing the formal dining hall, he mentioned London. "The little season begins in 3 weeks. We should open Wexbury House, attend some events." He watched her carefully. "I know society is not your preference, but as Duchess, appearances matter." Emma's stomach tightened. London meant scrutiny, comparison to women like Vanessa. "Will it be necessary?" "Not if you truly object." "But Emma..." He took her hand. "I want the world to see us, to see you. Rumors circulate that our marriage is mere convenience. I would like to prove otherwise." Pride stirred in her chest. "You want to claim me publicly. I want everyone to know that the Duke of Wexbury is deeply, obviously in love with his wife." His thumb stroked her knuckles. "If you are willing." How could she refuse when he looked at her like that? "Then we shall go to London." Preparations consumed the following weeks. Trunks were packed, staff sent ahead to ready Wexbury House. Emma ordered new gowns, still modest, but finer than anything she had owned. Joseph insisted on jewels, sapphires to match her eyes, pearls for her throat. "You are spoiling me," Emma protested as he fastened a necklace around her neck. "I am celebrating you." He kissed the sensitive spot below her ear. "Let me." The journey to London took 2 days. They stayed in coaching inns, sharing rooms, making love with quiet urgency, while travelers slept in adjacent chambers. The intimacy of it, stolen moments, whispered pleasure, made Emma feel deliciously wicked. Wexbury House stood in Mayfair, an elegant townhouse that spoke of wealth and position. Smaller than Ashbourne but still imposing, Emma walked through receiving rooms and drawing rooms, feeling out of place among such grandeur. "This was my mother's favorite room," Joseph said, showing her a small parlor overlooking the gardens. "She would sit here reading for hours." Emma touched the window frame. "Was she happy here, away from your father?" "More so than at Ashbourne." London gave her distance. His reflection appeared beside hers in the glass. "But she was never truly happy. I want different for us." "We have different." Emma leaned into him. "We have love." Their first event was a musical at Lady Sinclair's. Emma dressed in midnight blue silk, sapphires glittering at her throat. Joseph's eyes darkened when he saw her. "Extraordinary," he murmured, offering his arm. "Every man in London will envy me tonight." The ballroom glittered with candlelight and jewels. Emma felt eyes turn as they entered, heard whispers ripple through the crowd. The Duke of Wexbury and his surprising bride. Joseph kept her close, his hand possessive at her waist. Lady Jersey approached, formidable in burgundy satin. "Your Graces, how delightful to see you in town." Her sharp eyes assessed Emma. "Marriage agrees with you both, I see." "Indeed it does," Joseph said smoothly. "My wife has transformed Ashbourne. The estate has never been better managed." High praise. Lady Jersey's approval was subtle but unmistakable. "You must call on me, Your Grace. I am eager to hear about your charitable projects. We need more women of action in society." Throughout the evening, Joseph remained at Emma's side. When she was introduced, he praised her intelligence. When she spoke, he listened with obvious respect. When the pianist performed, he leaned close and whispered observations that made her smile. People noticed. Emma saw the reassessments happening, the whispers changing tone. This was not a marriage of convenience. This was a duke clearly besotted with his duchess. Then Vanessa Harrow entered. She swept in like a storm in crimson silk, drawing every eye. Her gaze found Joseph immediately, then Emma. A calculated smile curved her lips. Emma felt Joseph tense beside her. His hand tightened on her waist. "Steady," she whispered. "I am not afraid of her." "I know." He pressed a kiss to her temple, a deliberate public gesture. "But I am allowed to be angry on your behalf." Vanessa worked the room, gradually moving closer. Emma could feel the confrontation approaching like gathering thunder. "Your Grace." Vanessa's curtsy was perfect, her smile poisonous. "How wonderful to see you again. And dear Emma, that color suits you admirably." The patronizing tone made Emma's jaw clench. Joseph's expression went glacial. "Lady Harrow," his voice could have frozen fire. "I did not expect to see you here. Lady Sinclair is an old friend. She insisted I attend." Vanessa's fan fluttered. "I was hoping we might speak privately, Joseph, about old times." "I have no interest in old times." Joseph's arm around Emma's waist was unmistakable claim. "My present is far more engaging." Color rose in Vanessa's cheeks. Surely a dance would not be inappropriate, for friendship's sake. Emma felt the room watching. This was the test. Would Joseph waver? Would old connections matter more than new love? She touched his arm gently. "If you wish to dance with Lady Harrow, I have no objection." Joseph looked down at her, surprise and admiration mixing. Then he turned to Vanessa with polite but absolute coldness. "My wife's generosity is remarkable. However, I decline. The only woman I wish to dance with tonight is Emma." Vanessa's mask slipped, revealing fury beneath. "You would refuse me publicly. I would choose my wife publicly, privately, in all ways and always." Joseph guided Emma toward the dance floor. "Good evening, Lady Harrow." He swept Emma into the waltz, leaving Vanessa standing alone. Whispers exploded around them. "That was brutal," Emma said as they moved through the steps. "That was necessary." Joseph's eyes held hers intensely. "She needed to understand. Everyone needed to understand. You are my choice, my only choice. You have made that abundantly clear." "Good. Let there be no doubt." He pulled her fractionally closer than propriety allowed. "I love you, Emma. I will declare it to anyone who questions." Around them the ton watched. The Duke of Wexbury, known for coldness and control, gazing at his wife with obvious adoration, dancing only with her, refusing even a courtesy dance with a beautiful widow. Emma saw the moment society's opinion shifted. She was no longer the surprise bride. She was the woman who had captured England's most elusive duke. After the musicale, more invitations flooded in. Joseph accepted selectively, always events where Emma could shine. He introduced her to MPs and philanthropists, connecting her charitable interests with influential supporters. At each gathering, his pride in her was obvious. One afternoon, they attended a garden party. Emma spoke with Lady Pemberton about establishing a women's literacy program. Joseph watched from across the lawn, his expression soft. Lord Ashby approached him. "You are staring at your wife rather obviously, Wexbury." "Am I?" Joseph did not look away from Emma. "I had not noticed." "The entire party has noticed. You are positively besotted." "Yes," Joseph smiled. "I am." Lady Pemberton later pulled Emma aside. "Your husband looks at you the way my late husband looked at me. Real love is rare in our circles, Your Grace. Treasure it." "I do," Emma said. "Every moment." Their last event before returning to Ashbourne was a ball at Pemberton House. Emma wore sapphire silk that made her feel like royalty. Joseph's eyes when he saw her confirmed it. "You outshine every woman here," he murmured as they entered. "You are biased." "I am honest." He kissed her gloved hand. "Dance with me?" They waltzed 3 times, scandalous by society standards. Joseph did not care. When she needed refreshment, he fetched it himself rather than sending a servant. When Lord Crawford asked her opinion on estate management, Joseph deferred to her expertise. Near midnight, they slipped onto the terrace for air. London spread before them, lights glittering in the darkness. "Thank you," Emma said, leaning against the balustrade. "For what?" "For claiming me, for showing the world what we are." She turned to face him. "For loving me so obviously that no one can doubt it." Joseph pulled her close, heedless of who might see. "Loving you is effortless, Emma. It is hiding it that would be impossible." He kissed her there on the terrace, tender and deep. If anyone witnessed, Emma did not care. Let them see. Let them know. The Duke of Wexbury loved his Duchess, completely, publicly, forever. The next morning they departed London for Ashbourne. As the carriage rolled through the countryside, Emma watched her husband reading correspondence, sunlight painting his features. "What are you thinking?" Joseph asked, catching her staring. "That I am happy, truly, completely happy." He set aside his papers, pulled her close. "As am I. London was necessary, but home is where I want to be. With you." "Home," Emma echoed. The word meant something different now, not just a place but a person. Joseph was her home, and she was his. As Ashbourne Hall appeared in the distance, Emma smiled. They had faced London society and emerged stronger, proven their love to a skeptical world. But the best part was returning here, to the place they had built together, where love had grown from arrangement to reality, where the Duke who feared feeling had learned to love completely, and where the forgotten daughter had found her true worth. Winter arrived at Ashbourne Hall with quiet beauty. Frost painted the windows in delicate patterns, and bare trees stood stark against grey skies. Inside, warmth filled every room, fires crackling, laughter echoing, love transforming cold stone into home. Emma woke on Christmas Eve morning to find Joseph's side of the bed empty. They had been sharing chambers for months now, the pretense of separate wings abandoned. She reached for the pillow that still held his scent, smiling at the memory of how they had fallen asleep, tangled together, his hand resting protectively over her stomach. A note lay on his pillow. "Meet me by the lake at sunset. Dress warmly. I have a surprise." Curiosity bloomed. Joseph had been mysteriously absent for days, conferring with staff, disappearing on unexplained errands. Emma had pretended not to notice, enjoying his boyish excitement. She spent the day preparing for the Christmas celebration. Tomorrow, tenants and village families would gather at Ashbourne for the revived harvest feast. The kitchens hummed with activity, Mrs. Willis overseeing pies and roasts, the scent of cinnamon and cloves perfuming the air. Emma visited the village school that afternoon. The renovations were complete. New windows, fresh paint, additional desks. Miss Pemberton now had an assistant, and enrollment had doubled. Children looked up from their lessons as Emma entered, calling enthusiastic greetings. "Your Grace," Miss Pemberton said warmly, "we cannot thank you enough. These children have opportunities now they never would have had." "Education changes lives," Emma said simply. "Every child deserves that chance." Walking back through the village, she stopped at the small infirmary. Dr. Morris showed her the new supplies, the expanded apothecary. "The medicine you ordered from London arrived yesterday. We can treat ailments now that would have required travel to the city." Everywhere Emma looked, she saw transformation. Not just buildings, but lives improving. Purpose filled her days. Love filled her nights. She was needed here. She belonged. As sunset approached, Emma, dressed in a warm wool gown of deep green, wrapped herself in her cloak and walked toward the lake. The path was familiar now. She had walked it countless times since that rainy day under the oak. What she found at the lake's edge stole her breath. A pavilion had been erected on the shore, elegant white columns draped with evergreen garlands. Inside, lanterns hung from the ceiling, casting golden light across cushioned benches and a small table set for two. More lanterns lined the path leading to the structure, creating a corridor of light against the gathering dusk. Joseph stood in the pavilion's center, hands clasped behind his back, watching her approach. He wore dark blue, his expression tender and nervous in equal measure. "Joseph." Emma stopped at the pavilion's entrance. "This is beautiful. Not as beautiful as you." He extended his hand. "Come." She placed her hand in his, let him guide her inside. The lanterns created an intimate glow, warm despite the December cold. Through the open sides, the lake stretched dark and still, reflecting the first stars. "Do you know what day this is?" Joseph asked softly. Emma thought. "Christmas Eve, and exactly 1 year since I first saw you at Almack's." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "1 year since I looked across that ballroom and saw a woman in lilac standing beside a column. 1 year since I realized that everything I thought I knew about myself was wrong." Tears pricked Emma's eyes. "I remember. You looked at me as if you saw something no one else did. I saw you, Emma. Truly saw you. And I have not stopped looking since." He released her hand, reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. "I gave you my mother's ring when we married. An heirloom, yes, but not chosen for you." He opened the box. A ring gleamed inside, sapphires set in gold, each stone catching and holding the lantern light. "This I chose myself, not because tradition demanded it, but because these stones match your eyes. Because I wanted you to have something that was only yours, only ours." Joseph removed the ring, held it carefully. "Emma Ashford, will you marry me again? Not for duty or convenience, but for love." Emma's tears spilled freely. "We are already married." "Legally, yes, but I want to marry you in every way that matters. I want to promise again with full knowledge of what I am promising. Love, devotion, partnership, joy." His voice roughened. "Everything I was too foolish to offer the first time." "Yes," Emma's voice broke. "Yes, I will marry you again. Every day, for the rest of our lives." Joseph slipped the sapphire ring onto her finger beside the emerald. It fit perfectly, the stones complementing each other, old and new, duty and love, past and future. He pulled her close, kissed her with tender passion. Emma wrapped her arms around him, tasting salt from her tears, feeling his heart beating against hers. When they finally parted, Joseph kept her close. "I have one more thing to tell you, or rather, to ask you. What is it?" His hand moved to rest gently on her stomach. "Are you going to tell me, or must I pretend I have not noticed?" Emma froze. "Noticed what? That you have been unable to keep breakfast down for 2 weeks. That you fall asleep in the library before 8. That Mrs. Willis has been consulting with you about converting the nursery." His grey eyes were bright with emotion. "Emma, are you carrying our child?" She had meant to tell him tonight, but he had suspected. Of course he had. Joseph noticed everything about her. "Yes." The word came soft but clear. "I wanted to be certain before saying anything, but yes, Joseph, in spring Ashbourne will have an heir." Joy broke across his face like sunrise. He lifted her, spinning them both, laughing with pure delight. When he set her down, he cupped her face, his thumbs brushing away her tears. "A child, our child." His voice was reverent. "Emma, you have given me everything. Love, purpose, happiness I never thought possible. And now this—" He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "I do not deserve you. You deserve happiness. We both do." Emma placed her hand over his on her stomach. "This baby will know love from the beginning. Will never doubt being wanted. Will grow up in a house filled with warmth." "Yes." Joseph's eyes glistened. "Everything I never had our child will have. I swear it." They stood together as darkness fell completely around them, the lanterns their only light. Snow began to fall, light flakes drifting down like blessings. Through the pavilion's open sides, Ashbourne Hall glowed in the distance, every window bright with welcome. "Look," Emma pointed. "Home." "Home," Joseph echoed. He wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands resting protectively over where their child grew. "Everything I need is right here." They talked as snow fell gently. About names for the baby, Eleanor if a girl, Thomas if a boy. About the nursery they would prepare in the west wing close to their chambers. About schools and ponies and teaching their child to read in the library. "We will show them the oak tree where we first kissed," Emma said, leaning back against Joseph's chest. "And the gardens where their grandmother found peace, the village school their mother built, the infirmary that serves our tenants." Joseph's voice was warm against her ear. "They will learn that being a duke or duchess means service, not just privilege. They will learn love," Emma said simply. "That is the most important lesson." Later, they walked back to the house, hand in hand, lanterns lighting their path. Staff had prepared a private dinner in the small drawing room, Joseph's planning again. They ate by firelight, talking and laughing, stealing kisses between courses. That night, in their shared bed, Joseph made love to Emma with exquisite tenderness. His hands explored her body as if rediscovering every curve, lingering over the slight changes only he would notice. Afterward, he held her close, one hand resting on her stomach. "I love you," he murmured into the darkness. "Both of you, more than words can express. And we love you." Emma laced her fingers through his. Our little family. Christmas morning dawned clear and bright. The harvest celebration filled Ashbourne with life. Children running through halls, families gathering in the great room, laughter echoing off ancient walls. Emma watched Joseph speak with tenants, ruffle children's hair, accept thanks for the school and infirmary improvements. This was the man who had proposed a loveless arrangement, who had believed himself incapable of warmth, who had armored himself so completely against feeling. Now he laughed freely, touched her in passing, let joy show on his face. The steel had learned warmth, the armor had fallen away. Augusta arrived mid-morning, carried in despite her protests that she could walk perfectly well. She took one look at Emma and Joseph and smiled knowingly. "I see congratulations are in order," she said, when Emma bent to kiss her cheek. "We have not announced—" "Child, I am 83. I know when a woman is with child." Augusta patted Emma's hand. "You have done well, both of you. I am proud." Later, standing at the window watching snow fall over Ashbourne's grounds, Emma felt Joseph's arms circle her waist. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "That 1 year ago, I stood in a London ballroom believing myself forgotten, believing I would become a companion in Bath, destined for invisibility." She turned in his arms. "Now I am a duchess, a wife, soon to be a mother, loved beyond measure." "1 year ago I stood in that same ballroom believing myself broken," Joseph said. "Believing love was impossible for someone like me. That duty was the only path." His hand found hers, their rings catching light, emerald and sapphire, promise and love. "Then I saw you, and everything changed. We changed each other. We saved each other." He kissed her softly. "And we will keep saving each other. Every day." Through the window, Ashbourne Hall spread before them. No longer a cold monument to duty, but a living home filled with love. In spring, a child would be born here. In years to come, more children perhaps, laughter and tears, life unfolding. The forgotten daughter had found her place. The armored duke had found his heart. Together they had built something neither had thought possible. Not a convenient arrangement, but a great love story. And it was only the beginning. Sometimes the greatest love stories begin not with passion, but with honesty. Emma Fairchild walked into a marriage without promises and found everything she never dared to hope for. Joseph Ashford built walls to protect himself from pain, only to discover that the right person could teach steel to bend without breaking. Their journey reminds us that love is not always lightning. Sometimes it is the steady accumulation of small moments, shared silence in libraries, hands that find each other in darkness, the courage to be vulnerable when everything tells you to hide. Emma and Joseph did not fall in love at first sight. They chose each other day after day until choice became devotion. She was forgotten by the world, but seen by him. He was armored against feeling, but softened by her. Together they proved that the most profound transformations happen not when we find perfection, but when we find someone willing to grow alongside us. What walls have you built around your own heart, and what would it take for you to let them fall? If this story touched you, please leave a like. It helps us share more stories about love that heals and transforms. Subscribe to stay with us for more journeys of the heart. and we would love to know where are you listening from. Share in the comments below. Your presence here means everything. Thank you for letting us tell you this story. Until the next one, may you find the courage to choose love even when it frightens you.